Good evening, free enterprise fans around the world, and welcome to this fantastic matchup in the Lali-Ho League bracket stage between Dustygriff, number one seed in the tournament, and Poidrac, number 32 seed, who has already had to play his way in by beating Y2 Sky. And I am joined by Oscar424 here in the commentary booth. How are you this evening, Oscar?
I hope to one day be as happy as the lunar moon that Poidrac currently stands on. It's so happy. Otherwise, I'm fine. How about you, Pasu?
Well, I'm doing great, actually. I'm very excited for this match. I'm possibly as excited as that Rydia, who's just hanging out on the moon, waiting to get her Bahamut summon. Um, turn herself into the angry dragon goddess.
And just like that, she no longer exists, and I'm even happier.
Oh, you can't do that to Rydia. She's a perfectly viable character about 1 out of every 10 seeds.
That's clearly the one I missed.
But it does look like we have Dusty and Poidrac. They are starting with a Kane, the betrayer himself. They have objectives of getting Yang and defeating the Water Hag. I mean, neither of those seem particularly difficult. So, what's your thoughts on those, Oscar?
Honestly, okay, so Yang isn't really a gated character, so we don't need to. Nice, Poidrac. We don't need to worry about. Hopefully, knock on desk, we don't have to worry too much that Young will be in a really borked area. Water Hag, on the other hand, well, first off, anytime one of our runners sees a blue robe, there's an immediate moment of. But Water Hag is free with an asterisk because in some locations, she punch hard. Like, really hard and painful. So, I mean, there could be worse ish.
For sure. Yeah, I've been punched by a Water Hag for 3,000 damage at the Leviathan spot before, and that is the definition of air quotes free. it
Yeah,
hurts sometimes.
I've definitely met Water Hag up at cave value, and at that point, I took my business elsewhere.
Absolutely. It does look like we have Poidrac's naming scheme here. I do absolutely adore this. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. One might be a duck. Maybe that's a sign that Quack Kid is going to do some carrying for Poidrac here. You never know.
Considering mallard ducks are literally my favorite bird in the world, I'm okay with this.
See, and I'm a fan of the peregrine falcon. Gotta fly high, just be majestic.
And that's how you can tell the difference, Chad, between Pasu and I, right there.
But we have, hold on, that's a blue robe. That's a hook. This is a cane and a tella. You have exit. And that's a Gungnir spear in the starter kit with a good hunk of money. Cubs.
Oops. You're being nice. Are you okay?
Where was this Cubs for my race? That's all I'm gonna say without spoiling anything.
Um, Probably hiding behind me when I rolled you one of your season in the tournament.
Rude.
It kind of was.
But let's see where our runners go. There's a lot of options. Can go to Watery Pass, can go to Damsian, can go to Eblin. But it looks like both our runners are saying we have a hook. The hook could have a Fusoya. Let's go see if there's a Fusoya.
Instead, we're going to find out who's having a pool party, and ironically, it is the Magus sisters. So that is a boss check that can be kind of rude, and we don't have to deal with. Period.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those if you find it in the wrong spot, both the physical and the magic can hurt. It's also one where if you find it in the right spot, like the Baron in one spot, they can burn themselves, and it's kind of hilarious. Looks like Dustygriff deciding to loot Damsian, coming away with a couple Gaia shirts, a dancing dagger, which is really nice for Kane this early, but nothing else of any value.
What would you rather have right now, the dancing dagger or that really nice Gungnir spear?
Uh, that's honestly a really good question. I think with Jump, Gungnir might still do more damage, especially if you can find any strength boosting gear. And the dancing dagger, maybe that goes on a secondary character, either whoever's on the hook or whoever is on Mount Hobbs.
Wait, so early on, I'm assuming using Dancing Dagger as the item actually does more damage than one of the stronger weapons for Kane?
Absolutely. Yeah,
What?
because of the
Heck?
yeah, so a lot of it has to do with the multipliers, and the fact that Kane starts at level 10, he has no strength multipliers, he has no agility multipliers, and so that dancing dagger as an item will do between 2 and 400 depending on the spot. Whereas with that Gungnir spear, who knows what it's going to roll for? So it's very interesting. It looks like Dusty is opting to loot the hook route, and Poidrac just kind of rushed in to do a little bit of shopping and equipping. Sees that Gungnir spear, gets a little happy, finds hourglasses and silk webs, along with elixirs, buys a couple hourglasses, a couple silk webs. Dusty picks up 3 of each, whereas Poidrac picked up 2.
And this is super nice just on account of, well, again, Cubs was being very generous today, and they're rich. So yeah, they can literally afford to just spend some more money on wherever they want right now.
Yeah, and having that money can be key. It allows the runners to make some splurge purchases that you are normally not afforded the luxury of doing on this flag set. So you find a Sork robe, maybe you want to spend 30k on it. Finding a dwarf, yeah. Why is that so huge, Asuka?
Well, Kane does really cool things when he's back road, like, well, back row damage. But there's only a very specific small set of items and weapons that, well, weapons that get him back road. That dwarf axe is one of them. Is it the only one?
For Kane, yes, other than shenanigans with Edge.
Hey, I like shenanigans, okay? They're cheeky and fun. But anywho,
they are.
You have the hook route. So, about those shenanigans.
Yep, that's a vanilla Edge.
Anything else you want to commentary or bless while we're here?
Well, the other thing is, I think there were 2 longswords, weren't there, found as random loots?
There were longswords, and the weapon shop in Evelyn Cave did have, I don't remember if it was the boomerang or the non-boomerang back row glitching item. Either way, Kane or Edge can get back row glitched right now.
Yeah, it may have been that full moon.
That's the one.
Yeah, as opposed to the boomerang, which in and of itself is a fantastic weapon. But that might be worth our runners heading back in. Maybe not right now, but certainly at some point.
I mean, having this team this early, I mean, at this point, do you just start going burr in the overworld and start killing things?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this puts kind of a clock on the overworld as well, with how generous this start is for a bracket seed. This is very atypical.
And a ninja hat already, heck.
Yeah, like, this is going to be a very fast overworld, barring some sort of odd chain where, like, the Earth Crystal, the Twin Harp, the Baron Key, all of those potential overworld things are there to start with. But these runners are going to absolutely blow this up. And also rune axes were found, which is even better for that Kane, especially if there's no good way to deal with whatever set of guards was on that hook route.
Awesome. With this Edge, can you say this overworld will go up in flame?
You could say that if you were Baka Flocka Flame Shinobi.
Oh, it's Baka Flocka Flame Shinobi. I love it.
But you are Asuka 424, aka Gigglebot.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that Flame is good against, there you go. You got your wish.
Oh,
no, but an Earth Hammer use or the Stardust will definitely kill him.
Okay, is Stardust one of the ones that's HP based, or is it just I do damage?
Stardust is basically an OPJ item in that it is not HP based, it's flat rate, so it'll do like 6 to 800, but it also penetrates walls. So it's one of the really, really good ones.
Gotcha.
And to answer a question from chat, is it worth getting the full moon if you go back to Evelyn? Absolutely, in my opinion. Being able to back row your melee fighters just allows you to do things that they shouldn't otherwise be able to do. You can hide the heavy armor people in the back row and they are nigh on able to die, basically, which is a really good feeling to have for the underworld enemy.
Well, I can tell you that Poidrac was able to make the elements die, because they are gone, and now we are...
It's your favorite.
No! No! I don't like it. Make it go away.
Yeah, so back attack plague is awful. Val at Antlion Cave is free. That's one of the better places to find her. So... well, she has no physical multipliers in the tornado or out of it as far as evasion's concerned. So yeah, she just melts. And goodbye.
Would you say she's just dust in the wind?
I would not say that, but I will let you, since
Thanks.
again you're doing your best impression of some other commentators.
But we get to see the backwards numbers. This is the one good thing about Plague in the second spot on the bridge. There's some weird stuff with the second part. Like, really weird looking numbers.
Yeah, one of the awkward things here is Poidrac is trying to kill off his Tella there, but Tella's in the back row. Kane is in the back row. Edge is in the front row, but is not back row glitched. So what's happening is he's unable to actually deal enough damage to this Tella to kill him. It would actually behoove him to put everyone in the front row, as crazy as that sounds this early on, because that way Kane and Edge will deal full damage to that Tella and be able to knock him down on the ground really easy. So he's taking a random encounter to set this up so he can have a dead Tella going into the Plague fight, and this will make his life a lot easier.
Oh, that's cool. I will say something we didn't mention on Dusty's side. When he did take out Novels in Antlion Cave, he got himself a rat tail. Has not turned it in yet, but yeah, instead going right on to face the elements just as Poidrac did.
Yep, going through, you're going to face these elements. Probably not something you want to use Flame against, you know, as much as you may desire that, but he is also through this elements fight and will be greeted ever so rudely by this back attack Plague. Again, your favorite boss in the game.
No, I don't like it. It's just... I always get Plague in the worst spots, alright? I don't like Plague.
Yeah, and this is one of the worst spots for Plague, because by the time you get to even take a turn, as you look on Dusty's screen, his clock is down to 5 already. He's also going to have an issue here, I think, dealing enough damage to this Tella. Maybe with Kane being back road, he can deal the damage to Tella. Nope. So Plague 2, maybe 3, runner 0, and this is not an uncommon thing for a back attack Plague. It's just a gross fight.
But Poidrac has got through.
Very well done by Poidrac. That setup where he took that random encounter, took a little bit of time to prep for that fight and got through it. That's really heads up by Poidrac, kind of adapting on the fly there, showing why he is in this round. You know, already had to win a play-in to get here. So definitely earning his spot and earning his keep.
I just noticed that Dusty did not save for the elements fight. It's not a terrible, terrible time loss, but it's still a loss that he has to take again. But meanwhile, on Poidrac's side, we get to find out what the shiny sparkle is that comes down from the heavens of the top of the room, and it is... Oh! Hi! That's Z-axis. Not useful now, but will definitely be... Well, Evil Wall's not bad here.
Funny enough, Plague is probably the only thing that is bad on this overworld that our runners could have found. With that edge, they're just going to be carving everything up, but Plague doesn't care about your damage, Plague cares about counting. And if you don't let him count, that's the only way that you're really going to beat him in time. But the back attack spot, you can't do that. So.
And with that, Tella's officially online, and we get to see where Dusty's currently fighting worst boss in the game. Now we get to find out where our favorite poison dragon is going to be heading next.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Poidrac may hit Fabul next in order to route it in, since he's very near it. But if he's also prioritizing character checks, he could head to Baron. This party is certainly strong enough to take Baron on. Between the Gungnir Spear Kane, the Runax Kane, if he needs it as well, the Runax Sid, the Ninja himself, and now an online Tella, it's awful difficult to find anything that's going to stop our runners at this point.
Well, the thing is, Poidrac still needs to pick up that Sid, because he hasn't done that yet.
That's a good point. And it looks like he is going to prioritize that Baron in check. Maybe try to land a Magma Key. But yeah, both runners charging through, and Dusty is also through this Plague now, and going to be moving on to his fancy little room to get that pass as well.
And that is a nice find in the Baron Inn. We have Rosa, so we've got some really good physical fighters. We have an old man, and we have a white mage.
Yeah, and honestly, this is like 3/5 of an endgame party at this point, maybe 4/5 of it. Kane is a good secondary or tertiary Zerker. Edge is certainly a functional primary Berserker. Rosa's the preeminent white mage. Tella acts as kind of the do-it-all, not necessarily do-it-well party member, and also makes a fantastic anchor. So there's a lot of good characters early on for these runners.
Tella's like me; he's just happy to be here.
I mean, Tella's going to do a lot of work. Like, even this fire spell is going to be fantastic. That's more damage than Edge and Kane are doing right now.
Of course, with this Mylon Zed on the screen right now, it's always fun to point out that what you don't see is that little tiny pixel that signifies that Mylon Zed is actually floating. So don't bother using a Quake against it. You can, but it'd be funny. You could say using a Quake would not pan out very well for you.
Womp womp. But that was, as Asuka pointed out, the pan that was picked up from Baron Inn. That is very nice. Now the question is, does Poidrac do something spicy here?
And just go to the route?
Yeah, does he fade Fabul and go for the single dip?
That's interesting. Maybe. Well, he's going to be getting a Sid. Yeah, I could see him doing that at this point.
Because part of it is, against somebody of Dusty's caliber, and Poidrac is no slouch in his own right. Dusty is widely regarded as one of the best to ever do it, though. So you need to try to take maybe a risk or two, make up some time here and there, and maybe that's the type of thing where Poidrac's like, as long as this isn't the Magma Key or the Darkness Crystal, I can make up time by charging this hook. We also know that the hook route is free. It's some form of guards. They have a Tella. Middle slot Tella is more than capable of going through and either stoning, weaking, etc. That boss down there, and it really comes down to what's at the King-Queen spot. So, is it Pain Man? Or is it something friendly?
Well, and here's the thing. If you haven't been following Poidrac much during this, Poidrac has made probably one of the biggest galaxy brain coin flip checks in this tournament, in my opinion. He was looking for, I can't remember which match this is, my apologies, but he had to find a character for his fourth objective, and it was in one of two places. It was the Giant or somewhere else. He went through the Giant, found his character, and ended up winning the match. So Poidrac is not opposed to making those risky checks, which makes this so interesting because you have Dusty who is so clinical, and then you have Poidrac who is a bit more of a risk taker. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna affect their gameplay throughout the match, throughout the matchup, really.
Yeah, it's one of those that's a dangerous matchup from Dusty's perspective, because if Dusty's against someone else who he just has to out execute, who's going to route conventionally and do things like that, he's probably pretty safe. Against someone like Poidrac who's willing to take those risks, that's a more dangerous opponent because you have that wild card factor, and it means if Poidrac guesses right and he gambles right, he has a much better than average chance of defeating someone of Dusty's caliber. It's a very scary proposition from Dusty's standpoint that, it really brings the light onto the conversation of no one being safe at this point in this tournament because everyone's so good.
And on Dusty's side, we do get to see what that rat tail has, which they're good arrows, but no progression whatsoever. So unless there's, unless Cubs rolled us some vanilla, I don't think we've checked the Mist Cave yet, or the Magus Sister spot. It does look like our runners are going to be going down that hook route.
Or you could have D-Mist at the King Queen Eblin spot holding the Magma Key in front of a free boss.
What would you do? Would you just finish the hook route?
Yes, 100%. Okay.
Now, that being said, what I'm always hoping to see, because the amount of rudeness is chef's kiss level. The fact that there are certain bosses that cannot gate, it cannot be your own, there's words, cannot gate underworld access. Golbez, Wyvern, and Val. We've seen Val already, so we don't have to worry about that. But if there is a Golbez or a Wyvern in a King-Queen spot, that tells our runners right there to turn around, because there is a different way to get underground.
I think in most cases, and with most runners, that would be correct. I think with these runners, and with their party compositions, Edge would be fast enough to get RA1, or Relative Agility 1, and he would be able to go through and get fast enough to beat Wyvern or Golbez in that situation. And I think our runners would just move ahead. But speaking of Fabul, there's a D-Mist.
And Dusty faded Fabul, mind you.
Yep.
This went from 1 key check to 2.
Yeah, and this is interesting because let's say again something like Pain Man is sitting here at the King Queen spot, and you have to figure out how to survive those dark waves. But then there's a Magma Key either here or on D-Mist.
Ooh.
Yeah, adamant not progression, so that's not a reward per se. But this D-Mist check looms large. It could also be something like a Darkness Crystal. It could be a Sand Ruby. I don't know if we have eyes on who's in bed. It could be a package. Anything that leads to a potential Fusoya, even an Earth Crystal. All of those are things that you would want to prioritize before a hook dive in most cases, because any chance at food or Cecil, for that matter, could be game-breaking.
Could be Ogopogo? Could be Ogopogo?
Could be Wyvern.
Ogopogo! Yay!
Yeah, this is nasty. You're going to look for the biggest, shiniest darts you have, and short swords and dancing daggers are not it.
Hello from
Canada. the Canadian milk noodle himself. Ooh. And there's a tower key. So this Ogo is going to be required. But when Poidrac gets underground, Poidrac is going to have an extra check in the bag there in the tower key. It'll be interesting to see how he routes the underground as opposed to how Dusty routes it once he gets down there.
And as a question from chat, at what point in the brackets does it become a series instead of one game winner advances? That is after the round of 32. So after this round, everyone starts at 0. So don't have to wait too much longer.
Yeah, and Dustygriff on the receiving end of some nasty punches from that Ogopogo. Kane took 808 damage and was in fact heartbroken. I feel like that's a reference about 3 people are going to understand.
I'm just gonna start singing, but I'd prefer we not get. I prefer I not get insta-muted or.
Yeah, or DMCA'd or anything else.
I would just be more worried about everyone's eardrums that would start bleeding.
It happens.
I have questions right now.
But I will say that Ogopogo, proving why he's absolutely terrifying, was able to take out Dusty's party. Those punches, 800 damage is a lot of damage.
So as Dusty is taking on Ogopogo 2.0, Electric Boogaloo, and Poidrac will be finding out, it'll be a battle of dragons in the near future. I do want to give a quick shout out to the amazing people behind the scenes right now. We have Cubs Rule 21 that decided to roll us this heck of a hex seed and a heck of a note rope. And then of course we have Aegis on tracking, making all the shiny buttons even shinier and keeping them out of Possum's clutches because we need them. We only have so many sets and Possum's eaten most of them. Give them some love, give our runners some love, and definitely give Morpheus some love. He is an absolutely fantastic runner. He is also in the bracket stage currently, and is really heckin' good at this game, and does VOD reviews for people to help them out and get better, which is really cool, so yeah.
Well, those are all nice things that you said, but why would people not follow you? Shouldn't they follow you also? Because you're pretty heckin' cool too?
Nah.
Okay, well, everyone follow Asuka.
No! Follow Pasu!
Also, follow Ogopogo, because Ogo is proving to be the best runner on screen tonight. No offense to Dusty or Poidrac. So far, though, Plague and Ogopogo both being extremely rude, and Dusty saying, I need to do some rearranging and bouncing off this Ogo. So I wonder if he's going to check out maybe getting a full moon, maybe peek into Eblin, maybe go do that Fagul defense check, and immediately panic when he sees D-Mist, but then be a little more relieved when he finds out it's not the Magma Key.
Now, is this something that a change in battle speed could help with?
To a certain extent, yes, but at the same time, the problem is those physical punches are going to come out, and it just gets nasty. They're one-shotting his team regardless of battle speed, and that's kind of the bigger issue, is he just doesn't have the requisite level of defense to survive anything at this point. Now, Cubs Rule, our restreamer, brought up a really good point in chat. What if we take the Gungnir Spear off Kane?
Which
say heck it and throw it.
Oh. Because Poidrac swapped out the Gungnir Spear for the Rune Axe. So yeah.
Yeah, that might be something he's considering doing.
Now, how does dart damage work?
So dart damage works basically with a really finicky equation, and that equation is the attack power of the weapon multiplied by the level of edge multiplied by a random multiplier out there somewhere in the ether, because whatever, who knows. But more or less, the Gungnir Spear is like an 82 or 88 attack power weapon. It's fairly good. Multiply that by Kane's base level of 25, and you're looking at somewhere around a 2,000 to 2,200 base level dart.
Let me see if I get this right, because I'm trying to learn things. The King Queen spot has roughly 8,000 HP?
6.
No!
Close. But that dart would do between a third and a half of the health, and that's the larger point I think that our restreamer Cubs is pointing out, is that that would go a long way. That would chunk out a big portion of it, and then maybe you can sneak a Zerk off on Edge, or maybe get some blinks on him and get enough attacks off, or maybe sneak a Zerk with Rosa and get a blink with Tella and set something up where you're able to get through it. But one of the things now is we see both runners putting that Rune Axe to work on these Mad Ogres. At this point, though, we can objectively say that Poidrac is ahead, which might be a little surprising to folks, but he has that Fagul check done. He has that Demus turn-in done. So Poidrac is up. They're fairly small and short checks, but is up a little bit right now. Both runners also going to be in possession of an elixir, which is not exactly the reward they wanted, because those were already available in shops, in the Eblin shop, but the experience, probably the real reward they were looking for.
Now, here's another interesting factoid. What level, and hear me out, what level does Rosa get Blink?
22, I believe, so she's a little bit shy.
Because the other thing about doing the extra checks on Poidrac's side is, well, his characters, even without the Mad Ogres, are, well, stronger. Just comparing Rosa, on Poidrac's side, Rosa's level 20. On Dusty's side, she's only level 17.
Yeah, and that goes to what I was talking about, where Rosa can get that Zerk up on Edge after he darts maybe that Gungnir Spear. Tella can get that Blink up. And I think Poidrac would be able to get through this even without using that darted Gungnir Spear. One of the other things, though, is that Poidrac is going to have a chance of having Sid, Edge, and Kayn survive single hits here. Not a high chance, but a chance. So it looks like he is opting for Berserk on Kayn. So Kayn may have all the heavy armor that he has, and it may just be kind of a little bit of an attrition battle to keep that Kayn alive.
Is it worth it to use one of the silk webs that our runners have?
The Silk Web is tricky, because Silk Web will trigger a counter Blaze from Ogopogo. Blaze does a base 25% damage to your party, and that's a fairly precarious situation to put yourself in, because the opening big wave takes 50%. A counter big wave takes another 25, and then you're left in a situation where the next wave that Ogopogo does eats your remaining health. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, Ogo's just nasty. You don't have a lot of options other than either burn him down really fast or try to survive. Poidrac did go with the option of I am going to Zerk. He got the blink up, he got through. Heck of a job
That
by
was so
Poidrac
cool
here.
to watch. Poidrac confirming he's the best dragon.
That was masterfully done. Please save Poidrac. I know this boss is free.
Poidrac.
Oh, he does that. He has 1 hourglass left. Never mind. He can get through this.
Oh, that's
Oh, he has 3 hourglass.
Freer.
Well, this is one of those places where it is really super nice to have a week on Tella. Tella will be able to weak that back officer and basically take out like 15,000 health all in one move.
That is so smart.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's masterfully done so far from Poidrac. You know, Dusty playing well, Poidrac playing out of his mind right now.
That's what happens when you're literally playing in the future.
That's true.
That's just a narrow strike range because I just completely went IRL meta on all y'all. Love you. I got a laugh. Yes, my work here is done.
Giggle, giggle, haha, tee hee.
That was so forced and hilarious.
You're welcome. Looks like one of two things is going to happen here. Either this jump is going to kill Ogo, or Ogo's going to kill Kayn. Unfortunately for Dusty, I think... Oh! 1 health in a dream.
Never!
Legendary.
What?
Easy. Easy every time.
Like, Frigo Pogo. Heck!
Never a doubt, never a doubt. Well done, Dusty. And Poidrac also, though. Clearing everything on the overworld and going to be underground in basically 33 minutes with an Ogopogo at King Queen Eblin. Again, playing out of his mind right now. Like, Poidrac is making this look easy, and boy, that is not an easy hook route because of that Ogo.
Can confirm, if Pasu's saying that is not an easy Ogopogo, you listen to the pop. Just because he lives in a trash can and eats all the buttons, it's smart possum. He knows how he's really heckin' good at this game. And yeah, he's not kidding.
Yeah, I mean, Ogopogo in either spot on the hook route is gross. And that's not something I need to tell folks for them to understand. Just play it once.
I would say we were kind of blinded by Dusty just 1 HPing Ogopogo because that's the kind of luck Dusty has. Did we check the tower boss?
Bahamut.
3! 3?
Yep.
3! And so
but I would say... Yeah, I would say as far as Dusty's concerned, I know, Dusty luck was out there, etc., but I think that one of the things about that is, to me, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and Dusty's very prepared, and he had the opportunity to get away with one there. So I don't think it's as much luck as it might just be, hey, I'm good at this game, I'm prepared. Maybe he knew he had done the math of what a quarter of the damage would do and knew that it was going to come up shy.
And it's so interesting because most people would probably see that big wave coming and go, well, that's fine, and just reset without letting it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Dusty going to be underground around the 35-minute mark, so about a 2-minute difference between our runners. But Poidrac deciding also he's going to turn in the pan, leave a save in front of tower, and then do all of these pan checks. So he's setting up a fairly elaborate save scum right now, where he has multiple saves to fall back on.
Yeah, and he actually took the hovercraft and brought it over to where you would set it up for the pigtail turn-in. So this is smart like this is 2000 IQ like brain play right here.
Yeah, again, Poidrac playing extremely well. And, making all the right choices. There's an Earth Crystal. And the Pinktail, as you said.
What? So that save scum is not being used?
No, not even close.
What would you do in this situation? Obviously turn in the Pinktail, but do you have the Earth Crystal now?
Yeah, I'm Pinktail, and then I'm Zot. Now, the one major thing that Poidrac did not do, he did not check the Feymarch freebie. A lot of the times what folks will do is turn the pan in, get that check out of the way, and then head to Feymarch for that freebie, and then go back up. But Poidrac opted to avoid entirely. All right, so now even more incentivized.
Feed the Chocobo.
Nope. Nope, not happening. You are even more. Nope.
Nope. They put it in the trash can. It goes to you.
I don't want it. I can't eat it. It's made of crystal. I can't digest that.
Figure out a way to digest it.
But there's now 3 reasons to go to the Tower of Zot. Yang, Cecil, and Fusoya. There is no planet in which Poidrac is not going up this tower. After, of course, we play everybody's favorite game of Raid That Treasures.
She must be really bored watching that hidden door.
Life Staff, White Spear, Light Sword, Cat Claw.
Another Silent Staff. Very nice.
Free Bacchus, double double.
Oh,
Brunac.
jeez. That's
Ooh.
how you end a treasury right there.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Nothing else. That cursed ring.
Well, it's a White Spear. It's a
True.
Cursed Ring. A second Brunax, a Bacchus, a Life Staff. That's a lot of endgame equipment. And remember, folks, this is T Pro. This is not T Wildish. So let's go over some of those changes real quick, Oscar. What are some of those changes from Swiss to brackets?
You're asking the person that literally did not enter this tournament because she's hashtag bad at this.
Yeah, hashtag not bad at this. You are not. That's a lie.
Yeah,
Kindness bullying time.
No kindness. No. You're the one that gets kind. Ooh, that's a Baron key. So the Free March does have a Baron key. The difference between Swiss and brackets, because I'm pulling it up right now since you put me on the spot. Okay, so in Swiss, it's T Wild, so YOLO. Literally anything everywhere. Now, in brackets, it's a lot different. It is... Oh, no, it's not T Wild. I forgot to apply the preset.
Yeah, T Wildish.
Okay, so it's semi-YOLO. That's also a free Ashura, but semi-YOLO in that it's pretty much Hog Wild, except it's weighted in out-of-reach areas or out-of-way area. On the flip side, with the bracket stage, it becomes T Pro. So everything's super limited, aside from the stronger items in the later game places. So that treasury's already kind of nerfed as it is. Plus, there's no tier 7 items in treasure chests, which super nerfs the treasury. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now let the smart person actually explain what's going on.
Well, there were some developments while I put you on the spot and made it awkward for you to have to pull that up. You're welcome. So, development 1, Baron Key in the Feymarch freebie. Why is that important? Also, ha ha ha, appropriately timed giggle, because that's Giggle Man himself to go with Giggle Girl in the commentary booth with me. The developments. 1, Baron Key, Feymarch freebie. Why is that important? Blue robe to start. What could that blue robe be? Objective number 5.
Or it could be a gauntlet.
Or it could be a gauntlet. 2, we have this King Queen Eblin at the Asura spot.
Free!
Very free. 3rd, Sirens were also in Feymarch. So 3 pretty big developments from that Feymarch dive from Dusty. So Poidrac taking this very direct route, saying, I am fully fading Feymarch for right now, but I may or may not be back. We hope for his sake he will be back. Now, one other thing I want to point out about this Golbez. Golbez is mean. He did appropriately time this jump with Kayn. Again, phenomenal job to time that. So he will get through this Golbez, but it's still an annoying fight. There's a Sand Ruby from that King Queen Eblin. Do we know who was in bed?
A character that we have not seen yet.
Okay, so it's a Porum. Got it.
I still want my Edward, heck!
Well, it could be Edward. It could be Porum.
Either way, they're not going to get taken.
No. But it could also be Fusoya. And that's the thing is, Fusoya, having been on vacation in the last tournament, he has returned to glory and then some. Fusoya is just going ham on this tournament, and the runner who oftentimes finds Fu first wins. It's just quite simply that easy.
However, it's not guaranteed that there's going to be a Fu.
That's true.
Why is that? Since you like putting me on the spot.
There's Distinct 10 on, I believe, for this tournament. And Distinct 10 means there will only be 10 of the 12 characters in the seed. That will also mean there's 3 dupes that you cannot add to your party. And Poidrac showing us that there is at least a Porum in the tower with Dark Knight Cecil as the second boss of Dwarf Castle. You do get a little bit of insider information from doing Zot, where you can see the boss in the Golbez spot. Something, I think it's vanilla, where they give you that little storyline. I don't know. I never played it. It is what it is. But more importantly, there's the second character, and that is the man who can wield the crystal sword. That is a huge advantage to Poidrac. That is as good as, or maybe better, than finding a Fusoya with that crystal sword.
I was about to say. Well then.
Yeah. Cecil Go Burr.
And Cecil's already back road.
Yep. Coming with the goods as far as being back road. So this is one of those situations where Cecil and Fusoya are the two kind of men of the tournament, if you will. Rosa, of course, always being the preeminent white mage, but Cecil and Fu really drive the ship, if you will, and Rosa facilitates a lot of that.
Those that say, "Oh, but Cecil as a paladin only starts as level 1." You haven't seen a level 1 paladin with a crystal sword yet, have you? Heck.
Yeah, level 1 crystal sword Cecil against a Mylon Z. Oh, that's not good. Can we get the run buffer? Nope. No. And you will not be dodging here. The magic at this spot is obscene because Val is meant to land her petrification ray. So the light at the end of the tunnel for Poidrac is, oh, hey, here, by the way, you have that crystal sword Cecil online, but also Blarg.
Is it time for Wyvern Standard Time?
Yes, 100% Wyvern Standard Time. Also time for anchoring. One of the things about the Tower of Zot that's a little awkward is the Magus Sister spot is exceptionally slow. That's something like 8 agility. It's not very good. So you don't want to be anchored for it. The Val spot actually has 18 agility. It's the second fastest spot on the overworld behind only the Octomam spot in the waterfall. So it's really awkward because you want to be unanchored for the first fight, then you forget to anchor for the second fight, and you die to Wyvern. And it's literally happened to everyone.
But what's only going to happen to Dusty right now is he gets to... It's Bedward! Yay!
Yep, so your bard is going to spend a long time napping.
It's a comfy bed. I think. Maybe.
Well, unless he has a, what is it, desert fever? In which case it's not super comfy.
He's just sad because he keeps on getting ditched.
Well, he can't get ditched if he never gets picked up.
Worm didn't get picked up either, so...
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Meanwhile, now we wait.
Poidrac finding out that his Tela does not, in fact, have enough MP to cast Wall, which I believe was part of his plan here. Thankfully for him, Wyvern's Mega Nuke does a lot of damage, all of the damages, and it will one-shot itself from any reflecting nuke. Goodbye, Wyvern. Hello, Rosa. Poidrac is through, has the Crystal Sword Cecil, yep.
Meanwhile, we see Dusty taking on the inventory boss once more and going to Baron.
Yeah, I mean, he took the play to go on the Feymarch. He also knows, again, there is a blue robe in Baron Castle in that Vanilla Beigen spot. So it makes sense for him to follow this.
Meanwhile, we find out the Earth Crystal has... Oh, wow. Okay. That's a Darkness Crystal.
It's also potentially dangerous. Because if Poidrac is a gambling man, and he has a Crystal Sword Cecil, we could see something cheeky happen here. If he doesn't hit the Feymarch and pick up that Baron key and the Water Hag is here, that could be rough times for Poidrac, even as objectively ahead to me as he is right now. It could still be very dangerous if that's the route he opts to go.
Here's the thing. I don't claim to be smart at this game, because I'm not. Actually, let's find out, see which robe Dusty has found. That's that's a gauntlet. Anywho, so I don't claim to know like much meta, but I've watched Dustygriff a lot. Ish. Dusty seems to be someone that clears Earth and Underground because he's so good and he's so clinical and he knows he can do it quickly. Which is both good and bad for Poidrac finding Darkness Crystal. Because if Moon's haunted, Dusty is going to start blowing this out of water. But if the Moon is vaunted and Dusty sticks to what I see frequently out of him, that could be tragic for Dusty.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the lunar coin flip. It's the thing that decides more races than anything else. Is it on the Moon? Is it not on the Moon? It's that simple a question. I refer to it as the lunar coin flip. I know a lot of people have their other, words and phrases for it, but for me, it's one of those things where, is it there or is it here?
Now, Poidrac did back out of that Octomam fight.
Yep.
Why do you think that was?
Because he's still on Wyvern Standard Time.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair.
And Wyvern Standard Time means that both of those fights in Dwarf are going to take longer than if he just resets and does his purchasing again. And that's the third time that Poidrac has taken an early reset in battle. The first was against Plague, the second was against Ogo, and the third here now in Dwarf Castle. He would have liked to remember his battle speed first, I'm certain, but that's 3 separate times where Poidrac's really showing his battle acumen, if you will, where he's instantly recognizing something that he shouldn't go up against without preparation. Wow, Baron with the double blue robe, so Baron is required.
Wow. So much like the Moon, another thing that our runners kind of coin flip on is Feymarch in general. There's team always Feymarch and there's team never Feymarch. Feymarch has the goods this time around.
Well, the thing about Feymarch, about it being Team Never Feymarch, is even those who are on Team Never Feymarch still pick up the freebie.
True.
So that's the thing that is looming large for Poidrac right now, is he at least going to pick up the freebie? He's also going to take that King Queen Eblin fight while he's down there and get the Sand Ruby. That will get him to 10 key items, as he is already at 8.
I want to see a white shirt. Mostly because of memes.
I mean, a white shirt for Rosa is phenomenal. It actually means you can grind less.
Ah!
Yeah, that's a hard required Baron. So that's objective 5, that's objective 4. Objective 3 is on the table. That leaves the Harp or Legend Sword.
And then suddenly this lead that Poidrac had could be gone. Is gone.
We'll see. Because he still has Crystal Sword Cecil.
True.
Now that doesn't help with the gauntlet, but it helps with anything else. But what's in this Baron pot is going to tell a lot of this story.
Well,
oh, hey, you can get underground now.
Underground access, what's up? Oh my god. Fupa! So, this is...
Yeah.
This is interesting.
So, Dusty has the progression. Poidrac has the party. It's a tale of, 2 ends of the spectrum right now.
And then it's a matter of what item is are these checks going to give? We know this is going to be Mylon and Friends at the Odin Throne, which Dusty completely noped out of. But now we get to see the gloved hand and see what weird item Luca has around her neck.
Yeah, and that's interesting from Dusty saying, I'm good on the Baron basement when it was a Mylon of some variety. I think we've seen Z already, so that would be Mylon and Friends. But saying, no thanks, I'm out. For what is basically a free boss. So it'll be interesting to see if there's anything in the Barren Basement.
While Dusty is going to be getting his crystal sword, and Poidrac is going to be getting a key item of some kind, hopefully.
Now, I would imagine this is going to drive Dusty to the Earth Crystal as well, even with that Yang in hand.
It's staff. Not what we wanted.
Yeah, Fusoya was the reward there. Dusty heading underground might be doing Dwarf Castle or Tower instead. Yeah.
Well, Tower keys are really, I mean, Golbez and Alt Gauntlet usually make those incredibly rude and annoying. Both of those, we know at least, are off the table. So, yeah, that's a pretty quick check. And then Tower, top of Tower, I'm pretty sure Dusty could take it on.
Yeah, definitely would be able to take on both. But yeah, this Baron check is looming large. So the longer Poidrac goes, fading the Feymarch freebie, the more things turn back to Dusty.
Agreed.
But there is, again, that whole looming situation of one of our runners has both Crystal Sword Cecil and Fusoya, and the other doesn't.
Potentially a Sork Robe Fusoya. Or that might go on Rosa, who knows?
Probably going on food. Well, yeah, because it's still Sineki, which is one of those flags that's been turned on where everybody starts with a tier 3 or less weapon, but no armor. So that Sork Robe's nice.
We do have Poidrac going to the Feymarch for his benefit. Meanwhile, we do get to see the free King of Dragons at the top of the tower. Pretty simple wall up, let Bahamut do some damage to Bahamut, and Bob Jump, you're done.
Yeah, one of the interesting things for Poidrac is if he goes up the tower, he's going to just blow it up.
That's true.
But Dusty could very well get Go Mode
right here.
Right now, yeah, from this tower.
This particular key item, you find out what it is right away. And if it's the harp or the legend sword, that's Go Mode because he has the pass.
Yeah, he has his Z access. Our runners got the pass very early on. But this is going to be a little bit of a slog. The magic up here is not great. So a lot of extra damage is going to have to be chipped in here. That Edge only doing 300 in the back row. Rosa only 200. So this is not going to be a fast fight. Whereas on Poidrac's side, if he has to come up here, this is going to go significantly faster with that Cecil and that foot.
And plus, if Poidrac, checks the Feymarch fights, sees King, Queen, Evelyn, he's already at 10 key items. So that's going to give more XP, and I know Dusty has about 12 Sirens in his inventory. Poidrac only bought 3 from Feymarch, so he could potentially be grinding less.
Well, and I mean, on 10 key items with Crystal Sword, Cecil, and a Fusoya, 3 is really all you need.
Heck. Poidrac is definitely taking on that King Queen spot, and we get to see another Blarg come out from Bahamut. That does the trick. Dusty has beaten top of tower. Now we get to see Legend Sword would be faster. Harp would also work. Anything else would be okay. That's just a ninja hat. Never mind.
Ninja hat, yeah, not exactly the reward that our runners are looking for. Nice piece of gear, lets you manipulate a little bit of agility. Without a cursed ring, that would be handy. With a cursed ring, Although Dusty might not have raided the treasury, so he may not have that cursed ring, come to think of it.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, so that ninja hat for Fusoya, should he end up with that Fu, would be quite nice in order to get the +3 agility on Fusoya, push him to 23, and help him stay relative agility 1 to any 8 or 9 agility anchor. Meanwhile, Mom Bomb, ew, gross, nasty, go away. This spot has 600 health. Why are you here?
Oh, that's right. Mom Bomb gets bonus.
Yeah.
HP.
Yeah, instead of having 600, Mom Bomb has 9,600. It's just like, stop.
It still should be quick-ish, maybe, possibly, hopefully.
Interesting thing that's happening on Poidrac's side. Completed King Queen there. Saving.
He's going for Leviathan.
That's either D-Lunars or Pale Dim.
Pale Dim probably wouldn't be great here with that Crystal Sword Cecil.
Well, the thing is with Crystal Sword Cecil, he eats the D-Lunars. Pale Dim is going to be punchy. So he can still do this. Turned on the battle speed, anchor correctly, but he says, nah, I'm good. I don't feel like being punched in the face that many times. Let's go find greener pastures. And I don't hate it because he picked up the Baron Key and the Sand Ruby, and that's 2 character checks. And he's still looking for Yang, so he is very much so incentivized to do both of those. He also knows there's that Blue Robe and Baron. So not only is it a character check, it's a potential objective check. We know that it's both, and they're both there.
So yeah, it's basically, if this comes up, every check that Dusty makes now before heading to Earth is, if it comes up as a dud, Poidrac is in the lead. As soon as Dusty hits a pay dirt, though, this is going to completely shift in the other direction.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if this is Twin Harp or Legend from this tower key, that gives Dusty back the advantage, obviously. It puts him in go mode. But anything else...
You were saying?
Yeah.
There
anything else would favor Poidrac. So this is Poidrac on a clock. Even with the superior party, I don't know that he can make up the time on grind and go.
And that's what's so unfortunate right now, is because looking at the 2 teams, I mean, Poidrac, I'm sure, is feeling fantastic with the Crystal Sword Cecil, with the Fu. But he made the mistake of doing the Earth Crystal, really.
Yeah, but in the moment, it's not a mistake.
It's not. That's the thing. There's no such thing as a bad choice in here.
Like, with his routing, and again, this is where he chose to not go to Feymarch, which is totally fine. Totally valid, reasonable thing to do. Zot makes a lot of sense because with his routing, you're incentivized. Oh, by the way, Electfish fly, so you can't quake them. Yeah, but the issue is, like, you're hunting characters, and it makes sense. But he came up dry on the Yang. He got the Cecil, which is great. He got the Fu from Dwarf, which is great. But because he didn't have that Baron Key, frankly, he just got unlucky.
Yeah.
The one thing that he faded is the one thing that had all the value in the world. That being the Feymarch, which led to Baron. So Dusty effectively got the Galaxy Brain route to Seed because of the old mantra of check your freebies, check your objectives. He was checking his freebies. But this is still not over. Poidrac's team is unbelievably powerful.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be less grinding, less any of that. It's just he has an alt gauntlet he has to sit through, and as we know, the tower key check.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Dusty is relying on White Spear Kane, Runak Sid.
It's still a
long sword, middle sword, edge. It's setting up to be combo platter central there.
Okay, so, explain to the not smart people in chat like me. Explain what combo platter is. I know it is, but you're the smart one.
So combo platter, and there's what I call the combo platter and the Holy Trinity. The combo platter is Big Bang into Meteor during Zeromus, the final battle. To me, the Holy Trinity is when you eat the Big Bang into the black hole to negate your berserkers into Meteor. Where it's just like Zeromus saying, nah, not only are you going to die, it's going to be slower and you're going to feel bad.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow, all that kind of stuff.
Basically, yes.
Okay, so I have a berserk question and a black hole question. You say you have your Zerkers queued up to do damage, and black hole comes out, so that's going to be the last Zerked attack they do. Does that do Zerk damage?
No.
Or and a quick thing for Zoe in chat. I have a tattoo that is the kanji for cow on my ankle. I'm the same way. But continue on.
Well, I thought the question was just, does the berserk do damage after the black hole comes out?
Like, does it do berserk level damage, or does it do basic level damage?
Just basic.
Oh.
So it just treats it as a normal attack because the berserk is unapplied even though the attack is queued up.
Fair enough. And Gambit bring up a good point in chat that if Baron Basement has the harp, it can still be close, for sure. But like Pasu said, this is a timer for Poidrac, and that timer is counting down very quickly.
Yeah, the clock is a ticking here. But it's still not a guarantee on Dusty's side. Again, he's not going to have the damage output that Poidrac is. So that's kind of the thing here is what becomes of, you know, Poidrac's play. Where does he go from here? Does he do the Baron Basement? Does he, as Chad is pointing out, do the half tower play? You know, what does he do? What's his next move? The worst thing that happens, and this was one of my fears with this, is he takes that Darkness Crystal and he says, let's go. And that would be a death sentence, unfortunately, at this point.
Agreed. Well, as Dusty is cracking some eggs and Poidrac getting his Pasu special trash can item, again, quick shoutouts to... Aww, Pasu! That was like awesome possum sounding kind of thing. Shout out to our runners, Dustygriff and Poidrac. They are really heckin' good people that are really heckin' good at this game. So follow them, watch them. They are amazing and they are swell. Also, shout out to everyone behind the scenes, because right now Pasu and I just get to talk, and surprisingly, Pasu hasn't like banned me from ever speaking to him again by bringing the intelligence level down to like my level. But while we're talking, Cubs is doing the restreaming, rolling his eyes behind the scenes. He just is pushing all the buttons in his head, a lot to light up today. So give them love and follows, and of course, Pasu, one of the really also heckin' good runners of this game, who teaches a lot of people a lot of good things. So follow him and watch his streams, especially if you are a morning person, because Pasu is one of the kind people that does morning stuff.
And also follow Asuka, because she has world records in games like Resogun and Mom Hid My Game.
They don't know what those are.
And other fun things.
They're not RPGs though. This is an
they're still
RPG
good.
speedrun. Heck.
Dusty raiding the treasury wants to see if he can spike some better gear for his team. Definitely makes sense. And he's probably very happy to see that first one as well. And look at that. Chat does know what Resogun is.
But half the chat's like, Google.com. How do we spell it? R-E-N. Okay. So that's what that is. Nope. Anywho, just follow Pasu. He's cool. He's heckin' cool. But Poidrac is doing Mylon and Friends because zombies are bad, y'all.
Well, I mean, they do say like brains, and I say buttons, so that's basically the same thing. Zombies are good.
No, because they tend to kick my butt in like Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. Anywho. Meanwhile, we get to see the wonderful Mylon doing a cute 276 damage with that lightning one. But Dusty is using that pass item and is going to see a certain, well, nap time upstairs.
So you're saying this is going to be boring and we need to go to sleep? That doesn't seem right. This race has been super exciting.
I know it has. It's so exciting that, well, there's something special we do, because I always give the question to my co-commentator. We can't move Z. Z's too big and his background's scary. So we make Z look different. Is it cute? We'll find out. But there's 528 different things that Z can turn into. You need the crystal to do it, but the most important thing is the game soft resets and blows up unless you ask a very specific and singular question that Possum Morpheus is going to be saying today.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
No, that was the question.
No, that's not the question. Possum.
Okay.
Yay.
So the crystal's going to come out, and then we get to find out whose butt is Dusty going to kick tonight.
What if he pulls Dusty Miss?
That would be pretty funny.
Or hummus. Or RNG Miss. I didn't miss the spoon! Poidrac has a spoon! Yay!
What about Zero Ward? I know that's your favorite.
I love Zero Ward.
Oh.
What about hummus?
So if you cast Lit 3 on this, does it die or do you die?
I don't know, because I'm not gonna lie, I literally... Okay, this shows you why I am not a smart person, no matter how many times Posse tries to kindness bully me. I saw that and I almost said that's Temp Jobbus.
They do look alike as far as the color palette.
No Tricker, okay? What's the text bubble on top? Come on!
Also, shout out to Scarlet Kitty, because look at the text bubbles up top. The boxes line up perfectly.
Is that what Tricker says?
I mean, Tricker just uses Peep over and over again. And then he's like, I'm weak to lightning. Fun fact, he is actually weak to lightning. Also fun fact, if you don't kill him with said lightning, he will Lit 3 your entire party and you die. Yeah. It's a trick. That's why he's called Tricker, because he says he's weak to it, and then you die.
That makes sense. Just like Tella is weak to any form of damage ever. But yeah, with Sid and Kane with a lot of HP, and Edge for that matter with a lot of HP, and Rosa with a lot of HP. Unless this gets mega uber wombo comboed. I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward fight.
Yeah, this is the benefit of grinding up to Cure 4 and grinding up to 2400 health on that Rosa. It's going to be very hard for her to take a wipe. Now, I did set a personal record in the last few days with a Rosa that took 2574 damage against the Romus. That was unpleasant, and I was not appreciative of it. But I don't think that's going to happen with Dusty, because he got that life staff from that treasury. So he's going to have a decent amount of extra levels and decent gear here, and just going to be bonking away.
But meanwhile, Poidrac is getting through that Bahamut right now, getting the news that that is not the progression that he needs, but he'll find it soon enough. So, how quickly do you think, when Poidrac goes to fight Z, that fight's gonna go?
Faster than Dusty's.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's the easy answer. That's the John Madden answer, if you will, the obvious thing.
No, this is free enterprise. That's the Rivers McCown answer.
Oh, is okay.
Don't ban us, Rivers. We love you. The best. How about the Joe Buck answer? Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm not going to tell the campfire stories about my opinions on him. So let's get back to this Aromas fight with Dusty. As you have heard my diatribe on that topic. So yeah, this trigger, there's Meteo. We'll get back to this fight. We see some rocks falling, which means that the end is near for this Trickermas. Looks like the Zerk is coming back out on edge.
Would you say
honking away
a meteoric performance from Dusty?
Yeah, it was all right.
I am going to tell him that.
I'm sure he's going to hear it.
Well, he gets to hear it twice. How many times he watches the pod? Heck.
There it is. With the bonk, maybe? Yes, the bonk from Rose. Bonk, bonk. He's trying to one-up your Porum there.
Oh, yep, sure. Zerk, Porum, Z, bonk, kill. That's how you do it.
Yeah, but there it is. GG to Dustygriff, moving on to the round of 16. Came into this one game ahead based on Swiss records. We will see if we can get Dusty in for an interview. But down goes Z, down goes Poidrac, and ahead moves Dusty.
And speaking of, we have the number 1 seed, Dusty, in chat. GG Dusties. For the record, Possum said you did all right. I disagree.
well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for GG. And thanks to Possum for saying I did all right. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, GG Dusty. Very well done. Burning question on my mind for you is it involves that hook route, honestly. Thoughts on fading Fabool and then also being kind of nastily gated by that Ogopogo? Like, what was running through your mind at that point?
It hurt a little because it was contrary to how I typically play, which is extreme conservative, like really try and take care to make sure I don't get into situations like that. But with a team that strong and knowing that it was either Baron guards or Kaipo guards at the second spot, I was just like, just go for it here and not deal with Mad Ogres, not do anything else, not do any more shopping, not really set up any more than I have to, and just go for it. Yeah, it hurt a little bit to get in there and say, oh yeah, this is not fun. oh yeah, he's really fast. Yeah, he's oh yeah, this is horrible. But you know, made it through it with the 1 HP dream, as it were. Extremely, you know, I had my calculator out and running the scripts in the background. It was a really strange. I didn't feel super bad about it because I felt my overworld play was really clean up to that point. So I was like, I could probably bleed a bit of time here, and maybe I'm behind Poidrac, maybe I'm not. I'm not really sure because it's such a hard route that with a bit more prep, it's a lot easier. But I don't know how much more prep Poidrac also would have done in the time. I wasn't really sure. So it was like, oh, this is probably not going to be the funnest for him either. So we're going to kind of be somewhat similar, I'm thinking. Maybe I'm a bit behind, maybe I'm a bit ahead, maybe we're just even. So it was one of those weird routes where it felt bad, but at the same time it's like it's shared pain, a shared suffering between us. I'm sure.
What's so interesting is you two were effectively fighting Ogopogo together. You two were fighting the Mad Ogres together.
Right.
The difference was you were actually behind. Poidrac had done Fabool. But the big galaxy brain play was Baron. You followed that Baron key, and then you saw Pay Dirt. What was your thoughts on that, especially after just getting smacked around by that nope rope?
Well, it was like the ultimate, oh, look, it might be Water Hag here in the first spot, because we had seen in the intro that blue robe at the Boggin spot, and it was like, oh, well, if I get Baron Key, I'm immediately going for that, because it's either Fabul Gauntlet or Water Hag, and of course it was Fabul Gauntlet. but then obviously immediately after that get paid out, and I almost considered being like, maybe I make a save here in case it got reset back to it. I'm really glad I didn't do that. It's a play that I wouldn't really make anyways, but yeah, it felt pretty good because it's like, oh, I'm 3 objectives deep at that point, and now I'm just searching for either Legend Sword or Twin Harp, which at that point I felt really strong too. So it's kind of like I can kind of take on most of the rest of the whether it be Dwarf Castle or Sot after I did those Tower of Babel decisions. But yeah, it was nice to get the payout there for that decision. I think it was a pretty, for me, that felt like in my usual routing, a pretty clear one, that if it's possible one of the objectives is there, a 50-50 chance, then I'm going to take it.
So would you like to know who's in Zot and who's in Dwarf Castle?
I popped in after I finished and took a little look back, and I did see, yeah. I see Poidrac got to put that crystal sword to a little bit of good use, which I'm a little jealous about. But after, like, Gungnir, Gungnir's not the worst thing in the world, but it's certainly no crystal sword. I'll give it that.
Yeah, and I mean, going to that starter where you effectively get edge right away, you start with a Gungnir Spear Cane. I know you alluded to this, where that power early on was just so overwhelming for the overworld. When you got to that back attack plague, was that kind of an annoyance because it's one of the few things that doesn't care about the damage because it just counts and you don't get a turn?
Oh my god, it was so frustrating too because I felt so, again, it was like I felt so powerful. I was like, I'm just gonna run through all this stuff, who cares? And then the one time that I actually get wiped at Mylon Z spot and have to redo Mylon spot, it's just one thing after another to be like, like I said before, I have this way of playing where it's very conservative because I don't want to ever bleed a lot of time to have to redo things or wipe the fights. And I rarely, I think my play often lends to not wiping very often, and this is like the most I've wiped in a seed and who knows how long. So yeah, it's something to be said for what the seed threw at us today.
You can definitely direct all complaints to Cubs Rule 20.
I will. I'll write in the suggestion box. No more Ogorets, please.
I think he actually learned that from Asuka.
I can believe it. Yeah.
No, I put Ogo Pogo at Ruby. There's a difference. Okay. But yeah,
that's fair.
With that, you've completed your time in the round of 32, and you've officially moved on due to the point in the Swiss matchups advantage. What are you gonna do for the rest of the week? Take a break, get some more practice in. Watch.
I'll probably practice a bit more. I've been watching quite a bit of the races, which has been great because there's been so many tight ones already, which is a little scary moving forward in rounds and seeing what's coming up. But yeah, I'll say I'll be mostly focusing on practice for the time that I do play with FE this week, because this flag set can be rude. It can be very rude, but I really like it. It makes for very interesting decisions, but I think we've got a lot of really tight races coming up.
Yeah, definitely. And I really don't have any more questions. Kind of got the big ones of that hook route and the plague that I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts on. Asuka, you have anything else for the amazing Dustygriff?
No, it's always an absolute treat to see you play this game. You do things that are just, for most people, you make it look so effortless.
I felt a little less like amazing Dustygriff tonight and more like mild Dustygriff, maybe I'll give it, but I do appreciate it all the same.
Still, even when you do have to end up wiping a few times, just seeing how you change things up and you adapt and you overcome. Everyone can learn something every time we watch you play, so it is a pleasure to watch you race in LHO. Any last words from you, good sir?
I appreciate it, and Yeah, GG's to Poidrac on this one. I'm sure he played extremely well, and I can't wait to give it a better watch back here and see the whole race. And appreciate both of you for commentating this one and for the whole restream team. GG's, everyone.
GG, Dusty. And that was Dustygriff, our winner this evening. Moving on to that round of 16. Not going to spoil who his opponent is if we even know it. I honestly don't know. I should have probably looked and prepared. But Dusty will be facing someone in the round of 16.
Another opponent.
Another opponent. Meanwhile, Poidrac is deep in the throes of this Zeromus fight. Crystal Sword Cecil is doing Crystal Sword Cecil things. Sorry, Asuka, it didn't get thrown away.
There's so many numbers of HP. I love it.
All I know is don't might duck chicks before. I don't know what it means. I hope I didn't just summon some sort of odd Gru type thing into existence, but here we are.
Well, no, this isn't Grumus. This is Trickamus.
Yes, but it could have been a trick all along. To say the names of the characters.
But,
as some sort of chant.
No, that's Beetlejuice Miss.
Oh, fair.
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. But I'm. You know what? With 528, if
Probably
Beetlejuice is not here, come on.
What about Sephiroth in a Beetlejuice skin? No, okay.
I love the reaction of, I don't know how to respond to that. But no, that I actually have respect for Sephiroth, and we never call him Kefka.
I mean, Kefka's the greatest villain in Free Enterprise.
No!
Sorry, in Final Fantasy, not Free Enterprise.
Free Enterprise! Pasu, whatever button you had before comms today, that was a bad choice of button.
Nah, it's a great button. They're all great buttons.
What's a great button though is essentially the Zerkers just not even having to push a single button and doing massive damage to the Z.
Yeah, there is a slight concern here about the combo platter that we talked about, that Big Bang into Medio happening. But Poidrac did nerf that Big Bang there, so the combo platter is not really even a concern. Everyone will live through it. So this fight is effectively over, very well managed by Poidrac. There's rocks. This one's done and dusted. It's just a few more seconds longer, and Poidrac will also have completed the scene.
Especially with that Cure for this is that is the cutest little before I've ever seen.
Well, he tried. It's like you tried, miss, or hello. But there it is. GG to Poidrac.
We'll get that official time shortly. It's a 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 32 seconds, which is still a heckin' blazing time. Heck.
Yes, it is.
Oh my
anything sub 90 is amazing on this flag set. But I believe with that dinging in our ear, we are joined by Poidrac, the Poison Dragon himself. GG, sir.
I'll take it.
And
I know you're probably wanting people expecting to hear about me going played terribly and everything. No, today I actually feel I played really well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it.
Yeah, that was the one thing I wanted to say, because I know your shtick is always beating yourself up over stuff, but you played out of your mind today. You didn't get the result, but if you were to play like this every race, which we know you have it in you, my goodness, you were terrifyingly amazing today, Poidrac.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Dusty's sort of pre-finish, because unfortunately in Discord we get to see people are typing, although I'll try to ignore it, I sort of realised the difference was Tower of Babel.
Yeah, I think the big difference actually came down to when he went underground, he did the pan bonk and then went to Feymarch, picked up that Baron key, and he routed in Baron. Whereas you ended up picking up the Earth Crystal sooner. You were incentivized from the Crystal Sword, from Yang being out there. You were incentivized by all of those things to chase Zot, which was objectively the correct play in your shoes. And that was the cool thing about watching this, is you both took different paths and you both made all the correct decisions for what you had available for knowledge.
Oh yeah, that crystal sword. Oh, thank you. I'll take it. Don't have a Cecil yet, but if you've given me an Earth crystal as well, I've got a yarn to find. I've still got Water Hag to find at that time. 2 characters, 2 bosses, Earth crystal plus the treasury, which wasn't too bad today. I've got to say, yeah, that's an obvious place for me to go next. Yeah, all I can say is really it just came down to a matter of choices. Dustygriff unfortunately chose correctly today, unlike me, who sort of went off the beaten path but got there in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I also faded the tower versus Dusty in the very opening week of Swiss rounds and lost to him, pretty much in the same manner you did. So we are kindred spirits in that regard, Poidrac.
And as I mentioned to Dusty, I mean, you hit underground first, and you did more checks. Like, I out of all the runners, I personally relate to you the most because the whole, well, it's the shtick. I feel you, but it just don't feel like I just reiterate, don't feel bad. You played so well, and that hook route, that Ogo Pogo was just brutal, and you handled it brilliantly.
A bit lucky to be perfectly honest, because Ogo didn't want to hit Kane, and I forgot to change him back to his Gungnir from the Ogre. Sorry, the Runex, but it got it. I got through. So kept people alive long enough to get through it. Then yeah, getting underground sub 35 minutes, especially on a hook route. I felt good at that point. I felt that I had actually got underground first. I really did. Especially with Ogo in that spot, he can be really bad when things get tough. I didn't think I was too far ahead of Dusty at that point, maybe 2 to 5 minutes, but I felt ahead at that point. So yeah, up to that point, yeah, I was really feeling really good. But as the siege sort of dragged on, especially, I had a feeling that Moon wasn't going to be too involved today because of just a feeling. And when Baron showed up with Yang and Water Hag, it sort of put that nail into the wall. So yeah, I'm going to just say I played well. It wasn't good enough today. That's it. Move on. On the good side, though, my mind is now going to be clear, and for the next couple of weeks, I'll be actually able to get into the comms booth again.
Yay!
Very much so, yay.
Yeah.
Well, that's don't really have a lot of questions for you. Again, you played amazingly. You kind of talked about the things that we would have asked about with that Ogo and such. So I don't really have any other questions for you. Again, just all compliments from my end here. Asuka?
It was an honor and privilege to watch both of you play out of your bloody minds with this scene. You did fantastically, and be proud. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Plus, technically, I'm on a 5-win, or I was on a 5-win streak in the Lali-Ho League from week 4 of Swiss to this point. I had to lose to someone sometime. No shame in losing to Dustygriff.
There you go. Poidrac, any closing words from you?
I think there should be only a couple words left for me, because everyone knows I have a stick, and it is Lali-Ho.
Lali hugs.
Lali-Ho.
Thanks again, Poidrac, and again, GG's fantastic job. So yeah, Posse, you survived.
A little bit of trauma, but I think I'll be okay.
At what cost?
Yeah, but we are done after this exciting race between Dusty and Poidrac. But there's more free enterprise to be had, so don't go anywhere yet. We are going to be sending everybody off to Randomania 2. First and foremost, no spoilers or you will get bonked. Scala Kitty sees all and can bonk all. Asuka, it's been a pleasure. Everyone, make sure you follow Asuka, my
And
co-commentator.
follow-
Follow Cubs, who was our restreamer. Follow Aegis, who did the tracking. And most of all, please follow Dusty and Poidrac, who put on a heck of a show for you this evening.
It was an absolute treat to watch. And again, like I said, follow Pasu. He is a heckin' good marsupial.
Oh yeah, also Asuka, we should do this again sometime. This was fun.
You don't
There you
hate
go.
me?
There you go.
Aww.
Kindness bullying.
Heck!
Everyone enjoy the race over on Randomania too.
Oh. Pasu's
Have a
best
great
Posse.
night, y'all.
Bye.
Have a great night, y'all. Bye.